Hi, this is Slimedog,
Topo,
Legendary John.
and today we're playing Dead Rising 4 on the Xbox One from Capcom. Sequel to the 3 other Dead Rising games. It's got a little bit more, a little bit of a bad rap this time around, but overall it's still a lot of fun to be had here. Let's see. As it kind of returns to its roots. It goes back to a shopping mall this time, which is kind of fun. Although you also have a bit of the surrounding area.
you have the outdoor area as well, yes.
Yes. There are, this is one of the fun things, I don't know if you can tell, I'm wearing a suit, the outfits from Hagar, a character from Final Fight. There's a lot more of Capcom references in this one than there are in some of the previous ones. I think it's sort of fun and sort of just shout out to the fans, and they have really kind of nailed that aspect of it in this one. It's heavier than the previous 3. Before it was always kind of subtle, or maybe they'd add like a Mega Man secret costume here and there. But in this one, they really kind of...
Show across the way there, the big statue. Oh, look over to your left. There, you can see the big statue over there. It's kind of neat.
Photography's back in this one, by the way. You can use the camera like in the first one, and... oh, there he is.
Which is kind of neat.
It looks kind of zero-ish. I don't know if it's actually zero. But, like, the banners, you see lots of, like the...
This is just this particular section of the mall. The whole mall is not decorated in this fashion. This is the Kachiro Plaza portion of the mall.
Right.
And it's just super fun if you like the... And we're trying to find... Oh, there it is. It's up there.
There you go. Actually, both floors. The, that's Street Fighter, Crimson Viper, and then you see there's the outfits you can equip, unlock for base from Mega Man. A lot of the t-shirts in here have Street Fighter references.
There's an actual Christmas Street Fighter and Christmas... There's a couple Capcom Christmas sweaters, which are kind of fun.
Yeah. Power Stone, if you look on the wall there, Power Stone actually gets a shout out, which is kind of... Okay, I love that. Zombie duty here. There's some arcade machines. You see arcade machines for Final Fight, Street Fighter, standees featuring the was it the Udon art from the Street Fighter comic book series, the guys that made the Street Fighter 2 HD remix, as you can see in the poster right there. But they really kind of lay on the Street Fighter stuff thick at certain
There's
parts.
little surf bot.
Thinking of surf bots. It's an Attack of the Enceladus? Is that familiar to you? I have not heard of that.
See, this is where if you had an exosuit, that's what that, go back to the sword again. The giant sword, you need an exosuit to lift it. We're going to show you an exosuit in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. There's
so
like
you can see there's
comics and
zombies
manga on the walls too. They really had fun with it. And actually, let me put on the Surfbot mask. Oh no, that's not the mask. That's
one.
the... Shoot.
There's...
If you can put on the Surfbot head, it's like probably one of my favorite costumes because it emotes for you when you like walk around and do stuff. Like if you get hit, like the little Surfbot head, like that. Yeah, the expression will change. It's a lot of fun.
Or when there's zombies on the way, it's like ah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Let's pop upstairs real quick, and I'll show you that arcade too. But
oh yeah, out this way. There you go. This area is particularly fun because I love the Kachiro Plaza.
Mm-hmm. And they actually they start you off inside the mall, so you get this kind of from the get-go.
So this sort of brings us to, oh, here's the more of this.
Yeah. There's
it's just an arcade.
It's an arcade with
the
more
there's
stuff. A rival school shout out. You got Rose and Ken.
There's the other outfit.
More. Oh, and oh yeah, Zero. Hello. So, you know, they're Captain Commando. There's actually characters from Captain Commando on the on one of the T-shirts too. So, oh, there's the head that I like. That's it, right? No, once again.
The mask. It's a mask, not the head.
Sure.
I think that's the difference. Yeah.
Oh, the head.
It's hard to keep
anyway.
track.
There you go.
That's this area, and then as Slime runs over to the next area, I will discuss some of the stuff we enjoy and don't enjoy. I like this one. It's almost more than 3. I love 2, obviously. 3 was decent, but
3 was pretty good. We had a good time with 3, but
well, and I can't say I don't like it better. I like it for different reasons. This one has the whole mall area, which with 3, it was just a really big. You spent a lot of time driving around a lot, and that was kind of. I missed the mall, the fun parts of the mall.
Yeah, this one is not scaled for vehicles like 3 was. 3 was very
Right.
spread out to facilitate the a lot of the combo vehicles they had. You know, the cars
Which
and
was
stuff.
fun and all, but
Big freeway sections, things like that.
and I think this sort of meshes the two so that you get some of the mall, and then you also get some of the drive around area once you leave the mall, which you can see there that you have outside area also.
If I can, this weapon that I'm using right now is the Acid Maul. Having played through for not a huge amount of time, but maybe halfway through the game so far, this is one of the earlier combo weapons you pick up, and it is really great. The acid staggers the zombies, so you're not always getting swarmed, and if you kill 2 or 3, you get that swinging charge up. It's amazing crowd control, and considering not all of these combo weapons are created equal, this is definitely one of the best ones you can grab. If you get it early, just stick with it. And
I believe you get the blueprints for our two favorite weapons in the game, which are the Blambo and the Acid Maul.
a survivor. Let's see if we can
You
save
can
them.
see. You get the blueprints pretty early on. They are the best, in my opinion, 2 weapons of the game.
I'll show you both of them pretty quick here. Hold on, we can get to the survivor in time. But one of the things I wanted to show was the
Drops right down here.
exosuits, which are new to this game. They've got kind of big mech suits now that you can wear.
They've got limited time. Back there, if you noticed, aside from being able to pick up that large sword, you could pick up the arcade machines, and that's what you could use to maintain your exosuit so that you
Or
could last
cannon.
longer. And if you happen to be here, you can just use the cannon, because why not? Again, large things that you can't damage the survivors.
Unlike the other ones, yeah, you don't have to worry about playing nice.
You can also just, once you get them, this is one of my favorite
broad range and AoE attacks.
with the exosuit specific.
Mm-hmm.
The survivors, once you save them, if you can, this one is a particularly difficult one. If you actually save them, they're like, okay, thanks, she's dead.
She's probably
She's almost.
It'd actually be better
once you
without my armor. I could have.
you could have flamboed them out.
But that's fine. I'm just gonna.
Half the time she does. It seems we can't actually survive save this one.
But that's
Once you
okay.
save them, yes,
Unlike
there's
the other ones, if you lose a survivor, it doesn't permanently hurt you for the rest of the game. Like they're not permanently dead because the survivors are disposable and interchangeable.
This was one of our complaints about the game, which is that there's no actual story with any of them. They pop, you save them, they go back. Once you save them, it's like, okay, thanks, I'll go back to the shelter, and that's it.
And that's,
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Bye. Yeah.
Well, it says it on the screen. I think it comes up on the print.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like goes back to the shelter, and then it tells you, oh, by the way, once you've saved 15, or once the shelter is up to 15 survivors, it's at capacity. So I'm not even sure, even if you saved her, where she was supposed to go, because 15 is a big magic number, despite the fact that the
You don't
shelter's
really
plenty
get
of
anything for it.
space.
I think what happens is they go back to the shelter and you can see them walking around, but because they don't have any personality, it's kind of meaningless. That's one of the big disappointments, actually. Anybody who's played the other Dead Rising games knows that saving these finicky, wacky, over-the-top survivors that usually are more interested in either shopping or something else and being saved was one of the highlights of the story, of the plot. So, taking that away, and also the other, like removing the survivor aspect of it, like kind of the game loses quite a bit of personality. Here's the other weapon we're talking about is the Blambo.
Here's the Blambo, and between this and the Acid Maul, you get them early on. Stick with them because you can get massive amounts of kills with
Blows
them.
up tons and tons of guys. They're early on. The AoE doesn't hurt the survivors or you. So if you're getting swarmed, you just shoot this at your feet, and the AoE will blow up like everybody around you, and then just start shooting at random into the crowd. And the range on the AoE is so much that you can blow out just hundreds. See here, I got a 205, 207 kill count,
Do your
and I'm just pretty much just shooting at random.
YB and with your Acid Maul. You can only do melee with these, or
Yeah, the YB is a special attack, the clear out. See how they're all staggering? The zombies are all like flowing around staggering from the acid? That while they're doing that, they're not hurting you. So, unlike a lot of the other weapons.
So anyway, back
yeah.
to... These are the two weapons you're going to want. You get them pretty early on, and they're the handiest. You can do other stuff, obviously, but the cool thing... you do get sucked into the vacuum. The survivors are less entertaining than... Two, that was part of the whole... Like, I've got to get you back to the shelter. I need to get a matching purse for these shoes. You don't understand. Like, fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. It was just most ridiculous things like that that made it entertaining and fun. Now it's just like Survivor B, you save them, there you go. The other complaint we have for this is the quote-unquote bosses. We've fought a couple, which was like the first big one here in the mall, Queen Sandra, I believe it was, and her minions. And I believe it took 2 Blambo shots to kill her, and we were done. We didn't even actually see her.
Very little, like, actual dialogue. All she did is yell at us maybe once. In the previous ones, we're used to big openings. You've got a cutscene where they do something diabolical to some survivors, and they all have a really
crazy stories,
excess of personality. Basically,
yeah. I mean, they're so over the top. And again, with 2, 3 had some pretty tough bosses. I mean, you would go in and you were prepared with, I've got my 50 drinks, I've got my... This one, you have some food. There's no drink mixing on this one, which, okay. Also, less vodka for some reason. They seem to have toned that back.
A lot of the adult references, they really kind of...
Which is sad, because that's kind of what made it fun, this whole kind of over-the-top humor.
Save Raymond here.
Sure. Oh, you can. And it kind of detracts in that sense. And the bosses, you don't really feel as though you've done anything, because it doesn't... Yeah. I mean, it's no more than... This is tougher than the boss fight, because there's actually swarms of zombies and the fresh ones and stuff like that, but...
So overall, the difficulty of the game has definitely taken a hit. Like, as you can see, like, I'm just walking through zombie areas. If I don't hit them, you know, I can pretty much just sort of push my way through for the most part. Now I'm fairly leveled up at this point, but even if I weren't, it's just there's not a lot of challenge here. Like, very few things could actually hurt me.
Dude, why are you heading back to that? Not you, and Richard.
Richard just really wants to eat.
Seems like Raymond. Whatever. Again, see. Okay, that should be. Is that it?
Yeah.
The little skulls over the head are supposed to be the ones that you have to clear out.
Yeah, finish them up.
Sometimes it works. Oh, there's still a body. Okay. See, the survivor was saved, and it didn't say it there. Yeah, see, the shelter full capacity. So saving him is somewhat moot, but whatever.
This one's already.
Let's see.
Maxed out.
So bosses, there's no timer, which again, double-edged on that one. It definitely was a feel. The first one was a whole other story, but that was part of the whole nail biting from the second one, was, you know, making it through the day and the 4 days that you had.
Now, that said, the timer in particular, I don't really miss. I kind of like having the freedom to explore.
Right. There's so much fun stuff to explore.
Yeah, you can really take your time and get to know the world a lot better when you're not dashing from one survivor to another because you've got a finite clock.
Right.
Or you're not going to beat the game if you don't get to the next boss within whatever.
And I don't hate not having a timer either. Don't get me wrong. It's just that, yeah, I do... Yeah.
It is another factor that makes the game just that much easier, and the difficulty's already taken a huge hit, so...
So, and we've only done a couple of bosses, so, but they don't seem to be so, yeah. I still enjoy the game overall, because I do like the smaller map. It's got the, like I said, the, mall, which I really like. That's got fun, and it works well for people like us who like going around and collecting everything and finding all the blueprints. We cleared the mall before we even moved to the second stage of the game because that's how we are.
Yeah, we tend
If
to be
you
a
want
little
to,
bit OCD about getting all the collectibles and things like this. But
if you want to plow through, you can do that, and there's nothing wrong. You certainly can, and it's not going to detract from the game for you. Though I could see how maybe it would be too easy because the bosses aren't so challenging. Maybe it would be kind of. I hope that chest is. Oh yeah, there's the band.
I see the van, but I don't see the chest.
Great. Oh, there it is. It's next to it.
It is? Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
there it is. Event.
Yay! The events are pseudo-random. They happen in the same place, or
Sometimes
they happen in the same place.
There's
but
there's certain spots where they're going to happen. Sometimes they're there. Sometimes they're not.
Right.
What happens at each one can be different. Sometimes it's blow up their little satellite dish. Sometimes it's save a survivor.
Typically, the survivors are going to be the ones that are most valuable to you if you want to level
Upgrade
up
your plate. And only until you hit 15, at which point who cares? Apparently.
Yeah.
Again. So it's... but you have to level up your shelter to level 5, which apparently is 15 people, in order to access all of the map markers, which you can buy from one of the vendors in there.
which will let you collect, or
It marks your maps for all the
50
stuff you
zillion
need.
collectibles on the map,
Right.
yeah.
Some
So
of it's
like-
story related. You know, the what's her name? Vicky?
Vic,
Vic.
yeah.
Her memos or whatever are marked on the map. Blueprints are marked on the map. You buy various those upgrades for your map. But woohoo! What this one has, you should push down on your D-pad. Grab yourself a new Here's the exosuit.
Here's the exosuit. Now,
And here's
we saw
the-
this before, actually, the pirate ship. But this is probably my favorite exosuit weapon so far. Is the giant fly swatter that you can pull off this van and use it to swat around zombies like an insane person.
So this is one of the things we kind of missed with is just the over the top humor. This isn't
Right.
totally there, but this is pretty darn close to the
Yeah.
type of thing that we're looking for.
I'd like to have seen more of this,
this,
and less
yes.
of like the military grade rocket launchers.
Yeah.
Because this I feel like is where they really did it right. Also, I mean, you know, I don't want to bash in the game so much because if you look at some of the details, the flavor stuff, not just the lore, but just the attention to detail in some of the malls, backgrounds, the stores, somebody really loved this game. Like you can tell, like the developer team, you know, it's they really had their heart into it. So even though like obviously the challenge isn't there, the love is. If you look closely, it's you can see a lot of neat detail there.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to rag. Like I said, I think someone who's going to plow through this type of game is probably not going to enjoy it as much as somebody like us who likes to go through and do wacky stuff like this. We almost forgot the other reason we wanted to show you, and after your exosuit wears out, you can show them my two favorite holiday weapons, which we special made up to show you as
we
well.
got the locations from what was it you found
Okay,
out?
and I want to make sure and give a shout out, and I will link his page to our this broadcast is Massive Trigger had an excellent walkthrough on finding all the blueprints specifically that we needed. We had picked up these items in game. You can pick up a lot of weapons but not have the blueprints for them. And I specifically wanted to show you a couple of these weapons that, okay, now, let's see. Here's, okay, do the
I'm gonna do the
magic wand first. Here's the magic wand because,
the magic wand you can Harry Potter zombies into prisons.
well, Christmas items. Gingerbread men, beer, presents,
And if you do a whole bunch of them, it just tosses them all in the air. So it's really cute. You can actually pick up the presents and use them potentially, but mainly it's just fun because
it's just, I mean, again, look at how silly. It's just a candy cane.
that's some range to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so this kind of.
Oh, and there you go. There's your trial is taken care of with your magic wand.
They have some really decent, fun originality. They're not taking
Yes.
themselves too seriously.
Yes, and now we haven't. This is my probably one of my favorites.
Okay, this
the
one.
Gandelf.
The Gandelf throws. I don't know if you can see it. There we go.
It's their little lawn gnomes.
Lawn gnomes. Launch exploding lawn gnomes at the zombies. It just poof, poof. And
now once you get your... There you go. Okay, here you go.
You can do your big one, which is... A
Rose!
Lawn gnomes walks out and devastates the zombie horde.
And if you kill enough of them, it prepares you for the second round. And you can... We did like non-stop.
Zombies, yeah, you
we
can
did non-stop
chain,
special.
Chain
It was just
gnomish
crazy.
legions all over the place.
They did just do a straight line, sort of British style, but you
yeah,
know,
well, they only go
no
in front
offense
of
to
you
the
too, so you
Brits,
have
but
to,
you know. Oh come on,
They
with
killed
confetti!
a lot of zombies.
It is a great with the Christmas confetti. I mean, again, this is just silly fun. And today dropped the Christmas expansion. If you got the DLC, either the season pass or you can buy it separately for $5. And we haven't done it, but as I understand, it's got sort of more of the same. It'll dress up your zombies as elves or snowmen, and you also get said those types of costumes. We already have an elf costume, but and it has more of these kinds of weapons. I think the candy cane crossbow and
Christmassy themed.
yeah, it's a Christmas one, which is that's fun. I forget what it was called, that DLC, but
yeah. But there you have it, Dead Rising 4. If you've read game reviews, there's still some fun to be had here.
yes.
It's cool if you like sandbox games. It's great. It's not so great if you like a lot of challenge.
Yeah, and if you're that type that's going to run through and just like plow through to get to the boss, you're not going to probably, I mean, seriously, the fights are not hard. If you're tired of having the drag, I mean, I love the way they improved the survivors in the second one versus, we played the second one first, and then, get away from the truck, Bob. And then we played the first one, and we're like, how on earth did anyone ever finish this game? Because those survivors had zero, I'd say negative survivability, because they were like the worst. This bench is in my way. I can't go. I can't follow you because there's a bench. What? I mean, so in the other sense, I guess there's now this one where they just walk themselves back.
Yeah.
But again, still really fun. Can you show the map when you're done? It's this big. I mean, there's the mall in the middle. That's about 50% of your locations you're gonna find. Then there's Old Town Westridge, and then the north. This is the next step that we're in, and then up north is the last area. And I think that's relatively. It's not super huge. I mean, it's big, but it's, you know,
The scope of the game is probably comparable to 3, I think, as far as the overall landmass area map size.
But you don't have to spend large amounts of time. I remember we'd get a quest in Zone 4, and we'd have to go back to 3 and 2 to pick up the parts for it, and then we'd have to drive back over to 4 to turn it in, and I was like, okay, with the driving in circles around this beltway, I'm over it.
This one has a little bit more in the way of fast travel, you know, options. So.
Well, and I haven't found a lot of, if you've got a quest to do, it's right here. I don't know that have we had many quests? We actually haven't had a lot of quests. There's the difference too.
Yeah, it's
interestingly.
true. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
See you next time.